This video is not sponsored. I bought this set, which comes with 718 pieces and retails for $40 US. However, I have not been able to find it for $40 US. It's always 15% discounted anywhere that I've seen it, including the FunWhole website and Amazon.com. So full disclosure, I paid $34 US for it. It does come with the lights, the full light setup, which is mostly good, but has one quirk that wasn't as good as I expected. This is a variant of the regular newsstand set that they've had around for a little while. This adds in additional lights and all of the wintertime look to it, changes out the figures, changes out a bunch of the printed pieces in there to just give you a completely different option for a completely different season. Now, all of this looks good, but around the back doesn't look so good. There are some wires here, unfortunately, that are visible, that don't get routed properly through. The chief among them being this one right here, which actually goes to the lights in the front. And I'll look at that more and talk about it more. You can also remove the roof so we can see the interior details. That said, there are some interior details that can be seen from the outside, including this, which is able to spin around, which is a feature that was also in the non-Christmas version of this. Just again, had different prints inside, couple of displays there. You've got some displays outside as well, including the beard on the snowman rather than on this person who's, I'm assuming he's supposed to be actually working the newsstand. So it's not actually Santa Claus there. We'll take a closer look at the figures because people want to look at the figures, because I acknowledged in my last couple videos that most people don't want to look at the figures because they're not the style that people are used to. So yeah, we'll look at them just to cover it. Tons and tons of prints and a lot of them are really nice actually. And very, very charming. And you can see how you can see the interior a bit as well. The awning is able to retract just straight in. It doesn't really do that much, except it allows you to see the countertop a little bit better. Got gifts over here with the tree, got a teddy bear. This tree has the full light rope going around it, which doesn't quite look like what they show in the main pictures on the website, which are based on renders and the ideas from prototypes of what they expected. It's the exact same style of light that's used here. So it has two distinct lines of wires, and then they just have a single line of clear insulation going around the whole thing, and then different colors of LEDs. This does have the batteries mounted in a box inside. Batteries are not included. They are watch style batteries. So CR, is it 2032s? Is that it? Sorry if I got that wrong. More prints around here. And looking at this one in particular from an angle, you can see the depth that's there. I thought that was all just one print, but it's actually the window has a print for the garland going around the outside. And then there's an additional tile inside of that behind it that's mounted sideways. So, just a little extra surprise there. Obviously, lots of snow style detail around the top. Some of this is just recoloring the parts that were on the original build, and they changed some things up just a little bit to give you the idea of the shape of some of the snow drifting around. And the squirrel up there in a regular brown color. Looking inside, pop this off the roof. Now, unfortunately, you do have that one wire over there. So this does not have the touch connectors that I've come to expect from this company that allow you to do this easily. There's one more print kind of hidden right there. So this has to go off to the side, and then that wire is just not that well managed compared to, again, what I'm personally used to. Now, what I like the most in here, was most impressed by, was that book that's open right there with the snow globe in it. That's two prints. That is two 1x2 cheese slopes that are printed at one time together. So they actually pre-assemble that onto, those two are pre-assembled onto a plate, just a sacrificial plate, and then they print it to make sure that the alignment is perfect between the two parts, and to make sure that the print goes all the way right up to either edge. So there's no gap in there. It's pretty nice. Here you can see one of the lights. Now this one actually is routed well. The wires for it are routed pretty well, although, going outside it then has to go down. But the battery box is over here, so you can pull that out separately. It's just slotted down in between a couple rows of panel pieces there. So it's pretty thin. And then you've got some additional small things on the side. You see a little bit of additional detail back here that you might not have seen before, but otherwise, just a plain floor in there that does thankfully have some studs for posing a minifigure or two inside of there. And obviously you have the rear door as well. And Yeah, about this. So they did a hilarious thing in the instructions. Right at the end, there's the power distribution block, which gets placed on top of a specialized channel brick. So all the wires there are being taken care of just fine. This is your final placement. And then they say, there's what it looks like. And this is a complimentary light strip. As if to say, hey, you should be happy to have this. The reality is they show that on the website. They show it in all the main pictures. They show it on the front of this, that is part of the product that you're paying for right there. So I don't believe that this is a complimentary light strip thing at all. I think that they were trying to make you feel good at that point about the fact that this is going to be a little bit difficult to put on. Some of the customer feedback, I think, has been a little bit negative about that one because, for one thing, like I said, the wire is outside, and for two, wrapping around and getting it just to the right length so that it lines up, so that it ends here, doesn't have a whole bunch extra, and isn't pulling the flowers off, isn't pulling any of the leaves off and such. Takes some time. Takes some patience. And then once you're done routing that wire, they suggest that you route the wire underneath the eaves here. And wait, there's one more thing. There's one more step to that. I accidentally skipped a page. There's an extra piece as well that's included that they had not used up to this point. Again, more proof that it's not a complimentary one, unless that's a complimentary piece as well for mounting the wires from that strip. And then they just have you drop the wire down here. But there's a lot of extra wire as well. I think it's the exact same wire that's used for the tree, which, you know, this works out great and it looks good. And this is able to be wrapped around there, I think, pretty reasonably. You do have this one bit of heat shrink down at the base, but that's easy to hide away. But otherwise, this works pretty well. It did not take long for me to get it to the right length. It looks good. I'm happy with that. But this, on the other hand, yeah, this is this is not the most fun. Oh, and also this extra piece right here has to pinch the wires, which is absolutely standard in the world of light kits for brick-based construction things, but it's not standard for this company. What I like about them most with what they do with their lights is that they don't pinch wires the vast majority of the time, and that was an exception there. Here's a quick look at the figures. Again, I will acknowledge at my own peril that most of my viewers want to see figures that look like this. Any figures that don't look like this, they'll just want to discard and say are cursed because, well, we're used to a thing. And once you're used to a thing, you're used to a thing. That said, it's not legal for any other company to make figures that look like this. So this is what this company has come up with. The printing over here on the not Santa dude is not that great. The white is not that opaque. The printing over here looks a little bit better, but it's a little bit more difficult to judge. I think it's about the same quality. Just talking about the torso pieces there. The faces are done just fine. The heads themselves and the hair pieces are compatible with figures like this. These have plenty of articulation. You can rotate the hands. You can rotate the heads, of course. You can also rotate at the waist, get some waist articulation. You can move the legs independently as well. So they have all the articulation that you want, plus some, but they just don't look like, again, what most of my viewers come to expect. You also have to fully assemble these, including the hands. Some people have trouble with the hands. I don't have trouble with it. I didn't find it to be a negative, but I will acknowledge that it is a negative for some folks. These are the leftover and extra pieces. They include a small Phillips screwdriver for the battery door on the battery box. This is their version of a part separator. Pretty straightforward, just has the axle on the side. I think this is pretty much correct in here. They do give you some extras, including some extra hands and arms. That's pretty regular, it seems, across their products. They've got one of their specialized pieces here that is really useful for routing wires. It has a couple grooves in there so you can move wires through, again, without pinching them most of the time. And then this is just a USB adapter to allow you to permanently power this instead of using the battery box. Again, the standard suggested retail price is $40 US, but I've only been able to find it at $34 or less. But just looking at that retail, it's the suggested retail price for 718 pieces on paper. It sounds really, really good, especially when you consider that it has a bunch of lights and lighting components. But it's not that big. I personally feel like it's a respectable size for the $34 price. I'm comfortable with that just for the amount of plastic that's here. And I really wish that this particular string of lights, which I was most interested in out of anything, just personally, 100% just personally, I wish that this was done better. And I also wish that they hadn't called it complimentary, like free in the manual, because that's just deceptive, and just don't play games with people like that. Yeah, if it's not the best design, just accept that. They do have some older sets in their inventory as well that aren't designed as well, or don't have as many of the newer pieces, I've learned. And they even have some older sets that do have stickers. So definitely, if you're looking to try out a set from this company for the very first time, look at their free instructions online to see if it comes with stickers, just to make sure that your expectations are set appropriately. Now that I have this thing built, I'm very happy with it. Brick quality is not an issue whatsoever. They use Go Bricks as the manufacturer, which makes some of the best bricks out there that you can possibly get just from any company. And there's nice consistency. It's cool to see some older part designs that the leading brand abandoned decades ago being brought back, because nostalgia is nice, and useful parts are useful. And of course, all legal protections for all that stuff ended. This is public domain. All the shapes are public domain that they're using here, other than the ones that they designed themselves. But yep, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Hope that this provided some useful information to you, whether you're interested in buying this thing or not. Bye for now.